Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad coding decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So today we are actually going to set up the Express backend. We had to do TypeScript first because the way that the Knex file was saved using common JS instead of JS makes more sense if you have TypeScript. So I didn't want to set it up with TypeScript, run into the same exact issues I had with YieldMight, and then have to change it after doing a bunch of crying and stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is npm install all of the things that we need. So we're going to install Express, Knex, objection, and Postgres, and then we're also doing the no daemon. Or nodemon? I always do it say no daemon. But it installed everything. So what is next? Because every time we do this, it's like I'm doing it from scratch because I don't set up projects all that often, which maybe I should do it more often. So this is the structure that we're looking for. So we'll have API config, DB models, and an index.js. So my cat, hold on, give me a moment. She wants to go to her bed, and her bed's all the way over there, and she's on my back. And yes, we can get you taken care of. Yeah? Yeah? Is that what you want? Where are we going? Okay. Yeah, you're loud up there. Okay. That was an emergency. Thank you for that. Anyways, so let's look at the Knex file. So this is YieldMight, and we have the Knex config ts and Knex CJS. So we're gonna just copy this, because this should just be pretty much the same, and then we can change the little things like YieldMight to YieldCalcy. So we're gonna touch Knex file.cjs. That is what it's called, right? Knex file.cjs. Do that and then paste that in, and then we'll just read what it's doing. So we have so it won't be YieldMight, YieldCalcy, and then the migrations, Postgres. Okay, yeah, so everything else was probably default anyways. And then we also have a Knex config.ts, so touch Knex config.ts, and in that one we will do copy and paste. Yeah, so the best part about having a project that already works with the, keeping the same structure, is that you can just copy and paste things that you know work. And so okay, so we have YieldCalcy, which is using Postgres and MySchema. This is server DB seeds and migrations. Yep. This looks good. So we have that, and then I think in my server file or folder there should be so if we cd server, we do, all right, so I do an alias because Max does not have an LL. It's ls-l, and then you can do tr. So there's a tsconfig.json. Okay. It extends the next tsserver.json. So if we look here, we have this. So it's extending this, this. It's been a minute because I think in the application before this, I actually had an index file in here. So, I'm just looking to see, because we have the Knex, we have the log file, so we have the tsconfig.json, and all it does is, we have the Nuxt, and we have tsconfig server.json. So we also have that. So we can touch and have a server tsconfig.json. And that should just extend the same thing. And then if we go to, this is the server, and we go to API, this has the index ts. So I think there might be something in the Nuxt config that actually defines the API. So server, and then we can, okay, dir, make the directory for server and API. And then we can touch server API index.ts. And then you open up that file and copying it again. And so I think the next part is going to the Nuxt config. And we'll just search for API. That's interesting. Oh wait, this is not yield might. CD minus, which takes you back to, it's not the one up, but like the last directory that you were in before you went to the last directory. Anyways, we have main, and we're going to the Nuxt config, and we're just going to search for API. Okay. So I'm just wondering, because I've done this before and it made me define like what API is. So if we start YieldCalcy right now, npm run dev, and we go to localhost 3000, that's up. But if we go to just like API, you got here. Okay, well then the API is working. So that's good. Then I guess we can set this up to run our first migration, but I am not, let's just look because we have a Gemini plan, right? So we've done the Knex configuration, server config. Let's see if we have a server config in YieldMite. This one. Inside the server folder, API plugins, services, those are mine, task utils, DB. Oh, that's probably what we're talking about. So this, I'm doing it as a util, and I think in the here, it's defined in the config, which is probably makes more sense than what I was doing. So we can mkdir server config and then touch server config db.ts. We're opening that up, and then we'll put in here. And so I think server config. And so I'm not sure if I need, it's been a really long time since I have, so sorry, I clicked on something and I am not properly storing those API keys. So we will not do that anymore. But finally, I just grepped where in YieldMite are we even importing this utils database. And it looks like in the API calls themselves, we are using the Knex. And so instead of the utils database, we'll just be doing the config database in YieldCalcy. And then also in the one plugin that was there. So we'll be doing it where it's appropriate, importing Knex and then creating the database with the definitely migration models, seeds, and views. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then also let's just copy over the Knex commands because I have to, because of TypeScript, run it as Knex-Knex file and then define the name of it. So we go to YieldCalcy, and before we touch, do we have mkdir db server, and then touch server db Knex.md, and that is all we need to do in there. But I guess we can go and create the folders, and then we'll commit this and call it a day. Honestly, good job. We did it. We've made sure that the API works for the server in the backend. So, and then the next step is I want to incorporate auth0, so I will ask Gemini for a game plan for that, including what should the database table look like for users for auth0, and then the users table will be the first thing that we create. So it is that time of the day where I just cannot see my external monitor. The glare of the actual sun is making things more difficult than it needs to be. So we're just going to CD into the server. That way I don't have to prefix everything with server. So what do we have? We have API and we have config, DB, and config. So we need to mkdir services, and then tasks and utils we can wait for. And we're going to cd into the database. And we're going to create mkdir migrations, mkdir seeds, and I don't think we need views or functions yet. I think the view that I did is a materialized view that was specific for YieldMite, so that's all we need. And inside of the seeds, I do have, cd into, I just apologized to my command line, thank you. We're going to create a data folder, and so cd get status. So we have added those few things to the package. Express, Knex, objection, Postgres. And then get add the package lock. And then we just copied over these things and created the server folder. So get add initialized the backend server, and so get, we've already, so cd get checkout main, get merge this, and then we are ready to create the users table, and then the next step after that will be to incorporate auth0. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.